I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Okay, I want to announce that we had an executive session prior to the meeting, and it was on a personnel matter. Also, the meeting is going to be recorded, and hopefully we can get James back there is recording it.
Hey, we got a backup here the last couple months. Shout out to her.
Okay, but we do have a backup. Mark, do you want to explain how that's going to work?
Sure. So you guys have noticed the camera in the back of the room has been mounted up on the wall. All the equipment was put in to record the meeting, but the equipment is in the back room back here. So we started the recording already. It started before the meeting started. And what we're going to do is we're going to use tonight's meeting as a test run to see how this lighting works, sound works, to adjust any volumes and the lights or anything. Then what we're going to start doing that is after the meeting, we're going to post the video on a the township YouTube site. So you guys can go back and look at them, and then they can go back. If you forgot something from 3 meetings ago, they'll be there. You can look at them. And so each week after the meeting, we'll get a new video posted. I think that'll work well.
So when we're finished, if it actually recorded, we can start posting that.
Yeah, I think it's going to work well. We had the tech come in last week and he walked Aaron and I through everything and how to use it. So we did a test run. We checked everything. Because I didn't hear it was me singing. You don't want to hear that. But it seemed to work well. So, if this works well tonight, then we'll click this one and get it up there and we'll start going from there forward.
Okay, thank you, Mark. At this time, I'd like to recognize the public if you have any comments. And we are going to get to 5 minutes, so everybody gets a chance to say what they want to say. And we have... Okay. Okay, James Ander.
And James Dander be allowed to go second since he forgot to put
Okay.
recorder.
Okay, Michelle Lookabaugh.
Most of us are kind of in the unsure zone in terms of the status of data centers in our township. So I think that might be about third and fourth collection of thoughts from me on that topic. We are told this is progress, that progress arrived in polished presentation with smiling consultants and promises stacked high as silos against the Pennsylvania sky. But we are not blind. We are like David standing before Goliath, except the giant now wears corporate logos, travels in black SUVs, and speaks in reverse phrases about opportunity and economic growth. Behind them come the developers, circling like vultures, not for what is sacred, but for what can be consumed. And here we stand, the residents of this township, nestled beside the quiet Conewago Creek, fighting not for wealth, but for survival. For the right to wake each morning to bird song instead of generators. To fields of corn instead of concrete fortresses, humming day and night, like mechanical storms that never sleep. They tell us that the data centers will fall from heaven, bearing gifts, tax revenue, jobs, innovation. Words tossed like confetti into the wind. But travel down to Virginia, to the endless corridor they call Data Center Row, and listen closely. Listen beyond the sales pitches, and you will hear another story. A living nightmare of noise without silence, lights without darkness, and machines without rest. Promises there became tops balloon, became remnants of what people once hoped and believed. What frightens me the most is not only what we know, but what we don't know. How quickly humanity races forward without stopping to ask what is being sacrificed. We've seen this before. There was a time when cigarettes were glamorous. It's the thing to do. Safe, wrapped in shiny curtains, while death quietly gathered in our lungs. Now once again, we charge full steam ahead, without understanding the lasting effects upon the earth, upon the water, upon our fragile bodies. Pollutants seep into the air, into the soil, into the streams that feed the deer, the fox, and into the water tables from which we drink. Everything is connected here. And if you doubt that, you better check that again. The water remembers, the ground remembers, the body remembers. And long after the developers leave, after profits are gathered by a very small minority, and executives move on to the next opportunity, it will be the residents who remain. Breathing what lingers, drinking what settles, mourning what was lost. We are the caretakers of this place, not owners, caretakers. This land was entrusted to us by the Creator with the expectation that we would protect it, not carve it apart for the convenience of an industry whose hunger seems never to end. And so we ask a question simple enough for every part to answer honestly. If your home stood just feet from this property line on one of these massive data centers, would you welcome it? Would you want your children, your grandchildren sleeping beside it? Would you drink from nearby wells without fear? Would you surrender the peace of your evenings to the constant mechanical roar? If honesty still lives inside of us, the answer is a clear no. No, not on agricultural land, especially. If these structures must exist, place them where industry already exists. But do not ask us to sacrifice the living heart of this township for an experiment whose consequences remain unknown. Do the right thing. Honor the voices of the people who live here, whose roots run deep beside the Conewago Creek. Let the waters remain clean. Let future generations inherit more than noise, heat, and regret. Because once the earth is surrendered, once the fields are buried beneath concrete and steel, there is no returning to what once was. Where's Rochester?
Mark Brown, still 14 up Grandma Road. I'm back here again on the junk car issue at 1405. Me and Mark Stevens had a good conversation the other day. Told me he had looked into this for this stuff. And I think, I'm hoping I should say that according to the ordinance, you're allowed one junk motor vehicle, okay? And nothing else. That's how I read it, okay? Now, that, if you go back to page 1 of this, under E, it defines junk. And you're not allowed to have junk. So the trailer he has there is junk. That's what it is. If you go look now, it's covered in weed and inoperable. It's all junk, actually. So I just wanted to I told Mr. Stevens I would come up and hopefully reinforce what, we discussed, and he can chat that on you guys and
Yeah,
work out.
he talked to us about it and we're in agreement.
Yeah.
So I think,
We'll have an answer for you tonight.
yeah,
Yeah, hopefully he's going, I mean, they said that they talked to him, he got the denial or whatever, and hopefully a letter, and then we gotta do what we gotta do. If we gotta do, I think we're going to, so.
Okay, and at this point, we don't legally have a zoning officer. So tonight we are going to appoint one, and letters will be going out tomorrow morning.
Great. And, yeah, what else do I want to say? The, two questions on the data center, I guess it is. I'm assuming the planning commission got canceled twice now, right? Due to what, Shapiro's putting out, that the assumption?
No, not really. And we will have announcements on that tonight. So hang in there.
All right,
Okay.
thanks for all that.
Will we hear you next month? Okay, Melissa, Leader. Melissa?
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to figure out where the data center information you're sharing is on the agenda. Somewhere on here? I don't want to look through it.
Well, it will be. It will be once we accept the agenda.
Oh, the copy, okay, it's not on the agenda that was provided.
Right,
You're going to amend the agenda.
right.
Alright, we'll see you next week. I noticed today, when I did pull this one up, it is showing as amended, because it was posted earlier. Is there a way for future meetings to put the date on here that it was amended? So that way you're a little bit more in compliance, because this could have been done 5 minutes ago versus 24 hours in advance. Just looking to make sure that we're kind of having good
Okay,
record keeping.
okay.
Not too much trouble when that gets posted.
I think it was amended last week though, wasn't it? Month?
I don't know. I don't check it every day.
So the final version was amended Monday morning so that we were more than 24 hours prior to the meeting with the final agenda.
Okay. Yeah, so if you could maybe put a date on it, that'd be great. That way people be aware. Good data keeping. So I know that you said we're going to appoint a zoning officer, but right now, where should the right center request be addressed to?
They can just be addressed to the office and we'll distribute them to the right to know officers.
Is there a digital way to do that, or
Just the administrator.
You can email it in. Erin is our right to know officer, so if you email it to her, then it'll go right to her. And then what she does, she'll take it, process it, and if you have to contact me or somebody else to gather the information, we'll get it out and then get it back out and respond to it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't here last month. I know a couple months ago I brought up the truck business that is being ran out of 704 Butter Road. I know John and I had emailed you before. There's a lot that happened in the last couple months, but it's now expanding. And it's even larger, and there's even more tractor trailers, and they're now fixing tractor trailers out of the garage.
so, Mark and I, we've actually started kind of heading out in person to take a look at stuff. Mark, let's talk about this, about walking in.
Okay. And I noticed a new form on the website that was called a file for formal complaint to zoning. I don't know, it might not be new. I was just taking around today. Is that how in the future you want these type of things documented versus just kind of more supervisor meetings?
So that form is specifically for if the zoning officer makes a determination and the person who is seeking that determination disagrees with that formal written determination, then they can appeal it. That appeal goes to the zoning hearing board or
It wasn't clear. There wasn't any direction with the form, though. I was just making. Okay. And then my other question is, in town we talked about the comp plan that was done between the three townships was signed last June. I know that we have been delaying because of the data center pieces. But there are a lot of action items when I was reading through that again today. Is there any plan you utilize what was developed? There's a lot of suggestions in there, a lot of recommendations done. But we haven't heard a peep out of it.
Yeah, and John, do you have any update on?
I think that, with some of the movement and within the township of what's happening, we're settling the personnel, and then as we're gonna be moving, with the data center, ordinance, and then, more of a comp plan probably toward the latter part of this year, working with CS Data Center to develop even a more detailed, comprehensive
Just for
plan just for Conewago. Yeah.
I know I got brought up a couple of times. You guys did mention that you would have community involvement. Is that still the plan?
Absolutely.
And then I know we have tons of staffing changes that have been happening. One thing I'd just like to propose that you guys might consider with the way that Conewago is being currently developed to maybe investigate adding on an master planner to the staff. You don't know what that role is, but
That's me. I'm a registered certified land planner by profession.
awesome. All right, you know, your resume wasn't posted anywhere, your bio, so wasn't your last spot, though. That's for sure. They had one who had that skill set. That
I do.
like to still want them. Next.
Congratulations on.
I graduated, yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations for everybody who graduated. Anybody else who got your report? That's
Thank you, Lance. And those are good, some really good questions. Kelly Price.
Okay, my apologies, since I only have 5 minutes, I will be reading fast. I have, I've heard from residents and have seen comments regarding data centers in this township. Some residents were concerned while others knew nothing. I've never received any information or notice from the township regarding the data centers, nor did anyone else. If this is true, this will directly affect my property. My biggest fear is my well. My goal this evening is to convince you to reconsider. All the information that I've gathered came from Google and AI. Hyperscale data centers use 1 to 5 million gallons of water. The closing system, the initial bill is roughly 20,000 to 30,000 gallons, depending on the size, and the daily use to replace the blowdown losses is thousands of gallons daily. I've also asked Google AI some questions. How many total homes are in Conewago Township, PA? There are approximately 35 to 3,600 total housing units in Conewago Township, York County. What is the percentage of used well water in Conewago Township? The vast majority of homes in Conewago Township, York County, rely on private water wells. Township estimates indicate that 85 to 90% of the residents use well water. How many miles can a hyperscale data center pull from the aquifers? Data centers run from the up to 5 miles and sometimes further. I'm only 1.5 miles from the proposed data center on Bull Road. Question, like the crows fly, what is the distance between Bower Bridge Road and Bull Road? The straight line as the crows fly, distance between the proposed Rock Farm Bower Bridge Road data center and the proposed Mega Freight Campus data center along Bull Road is approximately 3.2 to 3.5. That's it. I also found a data center tracker. This website is for general purposes only. It was last updated on 4.6. Conewago Township officials are considering 2 rural areas for the potential data center development. An agricultural wedding venue is closing in 2026 on the west end of the township. And of course, the Rexwell Farm property is on the east end. Currently, planners are evaluating whether a data center overlay zone would apply to 1 or more of the locations. Activity is preliminary, which indicates that early stages focusing on planning and regulatory approval. I would also note that on the Bull Road location, the website states that the nearby grid infrastructure within 1 mile and the power source is over solar farms. Interesting. With the information that I've gathered, it seems that these proposals seem like it's already a done deal. This township is literally proposing a data center on the east and the west end of the community. And right smack dab in the middle of it is the residents and the farmers. Remember, 85 to 90% of us are still in well water. The center's draw 5 miles or more. And the distance between, like the crow's fly, is only 3.5 miles apart. So rhetorical question, why? Why would we even consider these centers and then position them on opposite sides of the community, drawing from either side and bleeding the community dry? These centers will literally cripple this community. And no disrespect, if this board cannot handle this type of devastation, and predominantly 85 to 90% of the residents not having water. I would even think that even hearing or reading this information from the legislature and being negligent on the township's part, looking at not being safe here, looking out for the well-being of the residents. My husband and I are retired and we plan on living in this community and we can't live with no water. We wouldn't even be able to sell a home. So again, I cannot live on my property with no water, nor could I even sell my home. And if you're asking about hooking up to water, please Google that. Residents are already complaining of your water company regarding little to no pressure. I personally know people that live on Church Road off of Lewisberry. They can't either run their dishwasher, or take a shower at certain times of the day. And the data centers aren't even up and running yet. So I guess my question to the board is, what is your plan? Are you going to protect the residents as well?
Okay, thank you. Hey, James, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
And keep in mind, 5 minutes.
I would like to ask, why was not my agenda item approved so that we're not facing the public comments? I just put it in a month ago.
Okay, I'm not aware that anything was put in.
I agree. Last Thursday was not on the agenda.
What's your agenda item?
It was related to the data center. But I didn't want to take some public comment. That's why I asked for it. If the email is there.
Right. I'll look for it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to start out on a topic that I did not plan on doing. Those who follow the Conewago, one of the community group pages knows, evidently I found out. It can get a little heated in there sometimes. I made a comment. I was asking Mr. Zigman about some allegations, and some people took it wrong. In no way I ever intended. And I'm going to make sure for the record, I want to clarify something.
Okay.
Have this set up. Last week, I made a comment on the Conewago Township page. I asked about allegations that were face-to-face shared to me by Mr. Inman about Kelly's ignorance. At that time, I had never known of Mr. Inman to lie to me. I do not call and keep up on the Conewago community Facebook group, and I was not aware of certain other things that now other people have alleged between both of them. I want to be clear about that Facebook comment. Whether you read it or not, I'm saying it because some other people drew attention to something that was never in bust. And that is what this is. I want to be clear about that Facebook comment. I only meant to speak about the allegations of Mr. Zigman non-verbally harassing and or surveilling him and his property. Let me be clear. It was not to accuse Mr. Zigman in any way of possible predatory behavior. I had absolutely no reason to believe any such insinuation is true. My words chosen in that comment were aimed to convey to any parent of any tender-age child, regardless of gender, that they would want someone stopping to watch and or actively record the yard in the area that their child may play in. No less, no more. It was never meant to insinuate anything of any sexual predatory behavior. It was to convey simple harassment and no more. I regret that some people interpreted my verbiage in a way I never intended. It's important for me to state plainly that I never thought, suggested, or believed anything about a child's possible safety, and I am sorry if my verbiage was misconstrued or taken by anybody there. If you look up on the page, it's still there. You'll see it was not meant to. This decision, upon learning that some people in this township decided to lean toward it being any more than a nonverbal harassment claim, is a travesty that's kind of indeed attempting to publicly correct. I heard that Mr. Zigman, I don't know if he's here, I heard that he was banned from the group. I just found out. So my question to him would not have even been seen. But if Mr. Zigman's here, if he hears it, I'll give you time. I still have those questions. I'm curious because I've heard a lot of allegations, and I believe in trying to be neutral on things. I did attempt to correct the record from the Facebook page. Via Facebook Messenger, I contacted the admin. Danny was the only one who got back in touch with me so far that I noticed. Even though he's on vacation, he tried to take over time to help provide context. Mr. Zigman had him blocked. Mr. Zigman's banned from the group because of alleged behavior, so he couldn't do much to help me, so I am trying to get the public word out once again. Never insinuation of any predatory behavior, just harassment. That any parent up there, someone else on her property line watching your area, your kids, recording where they play, etc. I would not. That's all it was.
Okay, thank you.
I can move on to my next topic that I have up to now. Okay. Someone asked me, actually kind of challenged me in a somewhat snarky way on a community page. Well, I haven't seen your opinions on the data centers. So I said, okay, I'll prepare something for next meeting, make it public. Here they are. Regarding the data center ordinance today, I want to make my opinion rather public. Well, it would bring about legal costs and likely losses that the board were to decide to say, if we're going to ban them, and you'd likely lose in court as you lost everybody left. It does not negate your absolute duty to protect us township residents from the plethora of the abuses that have been clearly documented online and other ways of what these data centers do to the community. It's my opinion that the township supervisor should have a written and robust protection plan in the final ordinance for the residents that they claim to serve. At minimum, the ordinance should require that data centers shall have no public access to the aquifers. The list of validated reasons for why they shouldn't have access is quite clear if you look it up online. They should be self-contained, self-cooling. No exceptions. The setback limits must be severely increased. Severely. We've heard people talk about the type of wavelength noise that is not usually hearable regarding machines and other stuff running.
Okay,
That's when they put in there also as a protection. Might not be, the comments might be, a welcome. All residents within a 1.5 mile radius of the outer edges of any data center property proposed must first have the data center investors financially provide 2 independent property appraisals for those properties, as if the data center was not even going there. If the data center is constructed, another 2 independent appraisals should be allowed to be accessed by any of those within 1.5 mile residents. And then those residents should be able to have in this ordinance written protection that says if our value of our property was affected, our quality of life, and we want to move, the data center has agreed and approved because of the ordinance that you put in place that they will pay the market value before they came there plus 20%. Protect the people that are going to get messed up by these things moving into the
okay, thank you.
I'm almost done.
Okay,
Data centers should only be placed on already zoned industrial areas that are at least 1/4 mile from the nearest residence to the outskirts of the data center property. Data centers must pay for their own separate power supply lines so as to not burden the existing infrastructure. There are other ordinances, other places in the United States you can see they have required them to make sure they don't mess up and go to people for it. Data centers will be given second priority to residential electricity supply. When there's a demand on the grid, residential will always be given first priority. Data centers will not be allowed to run their backup generators unless the grid is completely down or for a pre-agreed on stringent random testing as written in a proposed with what they agreed to. Data centers will be required to, in advance of approval, cite expected electric grid demands and be informed that if they exceed their advanced disclosure, their electricity will literally be cut back to the previous disclosure that they would need. There will be no games about, oh, well, we just need more, sorry. Because it's going to affect our bills. In closing, I know there's more that the public should provide you, and I hope you do. Say, hey, I want this protection in place. I want this protection in place. We're not outlawing, as you said, and saying you can't come in. But whatever protections you put in that ordinance, you should put them in as if you were planning on living along that proposed data center, and you are going to have to live with the repercussions. Because a lot of us out here, maybe. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? All right, I think we'll,
I'm right back up. After they, well, I got one more thing to say. It'll take me less than a minute.
okay, less than a minute.
A minute. I decided today to listen to a couple people talk about data center again, February. And you mentioned already that you're adding on information to the agenda about data centers that no one in the community knew about until 5 minutes ago. You mentioned that.
Okay.
And you guys have all talked about transparency and being honest with us. That's neat.
I don't think so. Wait until you hear what we're gonna add to it.
I mean, if you're at a concert, canceling them, you're outlawing them, that's not the only thing that's gonna make me happy. But the fact that not everyone who may have shown up tonight, knowing that you were gonna bring up one iota about a data center, now no longer have the opportunity to do so.
Okay.
So I just want that on the record.
All right. Thank you.
Just want to.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So the recognition of the public. Okay, we're closed now. So adoption of the agenda. We have two things that we want to add to the agenda. So we're going to need to vote on that. And one is to advertise for a workshop on the data centers. And we plan on having it on June 10th. And it's going to be here in this building. So that's basically all we have that is going to refer to the data center tonight. That we're going to have a workshop, and it's June the 10th. So we just need to advertise we just need to approve the advertising of it. Just a discussion on, we're probably going to have some of the ordinance together and just show you where we're going and what direction. And I think it'll clarify a lot.
You should clarify the planning. 1 second, please, ma'am.
Yeah, it's not a planning
Could you
commission.
clarify whether or not you're planning to take any action at that meeting?
No,
So that,
no.
just so everybody's.
Yeah, it's no action at that meeting. It's just a workshop to get information. 6 o'clock,
Where at?
It's like
right here.
It's NODA. Yeah, I mean, that's not acceptable for scheduling.
I agree.
Well, when would you like us to have it?
Well, you need at least 30 days notice to tell people about a workshop. We can't all just change our schedules and then your public notices
Do you
on
want
the
to,
newspaper, which nobody reads.
does everybody want us to push it down the road 30 days and extend it longer and longer? This way at least you know what's going on. And we are going to, we are going to record it and you can look on YouTube and get the entire meeting. So we can either have it on the 10th to give you some information, or if you want us to drag it off until July, is everybody going to be around for the July workshop?
What's the public notice gonna be? In the newspaper? Which is garbage. I would like to interject, I mentioned in the minute you walked there. I asked Mr. Zander to make sure that you all that are in charge of making decisions whether or not a data centers, plural, float in this township. He pointed out, we don't want an ordinance which is wishy-washy.
Exactly.
And
that's why we're taking our time in doing this.
that he mentioned, in my mind, are the minimum that all of us are willing to accept. Distance-wise, we have to be protected. My backyard looks on, I live on Bowersburg Road. My backyard looks on Rex Roth's, one of his parcels. So we're close. My well is in my backyard.
Okay.
So I'm very close to the water table, from which I assume my well is dependent upon.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Melissa, one quick thing.
Well, can I just kind of make a suggestion that might help bridge the gap here? Because that is a very, very short notice for an entire workshop. Could you perhaps have one on the 10th and then maybe offer another one on the 24th for people who can't make it? That would help offer an olive branch. Instead of the expectation of the less than a week.
Okay. And you had a question? Well, it's the.
So the workshop is going to be workshop.
Let me answer my question. What? I wasn't done.
Look, we haven't. Yeah, we're still talking. So the speakers coming. I say speakers. The people who be leading the workshop are the attorney, the special counsel who we hired to help write the ordinance, and our engineer will be there to review and look at the location, the proposed locations of where they would be allowed. It's going to be an overlay zone, and then requirements within the zone. So those are the things that we want to go through in the workshop and look at it. Now, I hear you guys. If doing it on the 10th is too short, we can push it out and give 3 days. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do 2 because I don't know if we want to bring those experts back in play.
Why wouldn't you recommend it twice? This is our life and our home.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I think if
So are we
and I don't think even the 24th, if you want a 30-day, if we want to extend it 30 days
We'll set it for July then.
for it.
So why is the problem to finish that I was talking about, I cut off multiple times on, what is the problem of offering to do it twice so that we're not delaying until July? And then you call it a workshop. Are we just going to be expected to sit and listen to what experts tell us? Or is this an interactive community participating workshop?
It's going to be interacting and it's just going to be a workshop. And we're going to just show you what we have, give you some of the paperwork. And then it's also going to go back to the planning.
Yeah.
So you'll have a chance with the planning to go over the same thing.
Okay.
So we will basically be having 2 meetings for the month.
Well, right. I mean, but what is the problem of having 2 community meetings for people who can't?
Let me, I hear what you're saying, Melissa. So, what's the harm in maybe pushing and advertising for a July 17th meeting? And then June 17th. So a week later, so it's about 2 weeks notice. And then, we'll do one, in July, another 2 weeks out. So maybe, not around the July 4th holiday afterwards, we can talk about that. But I understand what you're saying. That way it gives more flexibility for the public to attend and then to Melissa's point, everybody else's point, this is a very important, so our speakers and people should be at both because some people may be able to make one and not the other, so they should be having that. Okay?
So in that job, if they're gonna be out here,
Yes.
my concern is, are we gonna have enough time?
We tried to get the school and we also tried to get the church and we haven't been successful.
Well, maybe now we can more successful getting into the location then.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? We'll communicate that back out.
Bring that meeting. I do, because it's summertime, people are on vacation.
I agree.
And I mean, that kind of pushes more on you, I get it. But I think 2 is good. And then I think that we need to consider, like, we're packing it here on a regular meeting. We're gonna talk about that, and then I think as well.
And I'm happy, you know, to sharing things. I'm more than happy to share the data on all the different sites. And it'll get out there. That's not an issue.
Okay, well, tonight, and Mark, can we go ahead and, approve advertising, but we'll come up with the date? Because we don't wanna have to push it out, and then if we don't make the vote on advertising, then are we in, you know?
So let me, simplify this. Let's add to the agenda to authorize staff to advertise for special meetings related to the data center. Then we can advertise, we can send the dates and everything else afterwards, so that gives us the authority to go ahead and get them advertised and get them locked in at that.
Without having to wait another 30 days.
So I would suggest we put it under, item 6, planning and zoning, that'd be item number 1. And then the second one you add will be, 6, item number 2.
Okay,
How quickly you get the date out there? That's important.
well, as soon as we, get the church or,
I'll coordinate the location and they get that locked in. But first, I have to make sure that the people we want to have there are available that night. So I have to coordinate the schedule, get them in. So I know the 10th works, but we can reschedule. We'll take those.
School that they
Guys, I'm
should
gone
have
the
it in there
15th.
because they don't rate their
I'm gone.
yeah,
They should allow it in the building for spontaneous.
yeah, and school's out, so, you know, it might be a little bit easier.
Who again, got any quite here at all? Who are the scheduled people that you're bringing for these workshops?
So it's a special counsel who we've hired to write the ordinance.
All right, who is this?
Brent Flower
Red flowers.
with Eckerd Stevens. She's an attorney.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I am. I have read that potentially, an attorney who is involved here is also an attorney that is representing the prospective seller.
Well, I'm not going to talk about that, but all I'm
Which
saying
would
is,
be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, and that's why we have a special counsel.
right. So we have special
You
counsel.
want impartiality.
Right, and that's what we have.
Right.
And the second one is our township engineer, Garrett Ronaldo. He'll be there. I want him there as well on the technical side to help review it. So those are the two key people. The third one that we're trying to get right now is a sound engineer out of Allentown area to come be an expert on the sound impacts of data center. We want all three of them at the meeting. So I'll coordinate all three of those schedules, and then once I get those in, we'll get a date. We'll lock down the location. Okay.
How about some of the air pollution?
That hasn't been a known concern around them, but if it's something we need an expert on, we can look at that.
Water.
Backup generators.
Sure.
Okay,
Did you run the Tampa Planning Commission?
Yeah.
I would want to make sure as a resident, since they're on the board, that they would all hear.
they would be attending, they would not be running the meeting.
No, I know that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, and that's another thing that you coordinated, Mark, with them, that, they would be available.
So they were scheduled on the first meeting we had tentatively set, but we'll make sure that both supervisors and the planning commission are there to see.
All right, so let's just clarify for everyone. The first meeting, we will establish when we can align everyone.
Right.
We're gonna push it out maybe a little bit more so everybody has more time, and we have to publicly advertise for that. And when we publicly advertise, we'll not only put it on the website, but we have to do it in the newspaper.
Right.
By law.
And it'll be on our sign.
Yeah, and second, then we'll establish another date in July, for that and try to coordinate. So that way there's 2 dates for people to attend, and we will publicly announce those as we get the locations and the dates locked in and the speakers, correct?
Yeah, and just to be clear, the reason we do it in the newspaper is by law we have to.
Yes.
So that won't be the only one, but we have to do that one until we hold the meeting. So we'll do that. We'll push it out over time existing. We'll put it on the billboard out front. I'll talk to Sharon. She can push it out. Now that will tell everybody.
So I just want to clarify, if the meeting does not happen next week, which that's fine if it doesn't.
Right.
We will not have a workshop meeting before the next planning commission meeting.
Correct.
And that's okay, but just so everyone knows, when you,
And that's,
the planning commission on the 22nd, there will not be any new information. We will not have had any discussions. before that DC meeting on the 27th.
And that's the only reason that we wanted to do it at this time.
I know that the township, all the townships where these data centers, generally are interested in immigrating. Legally, you are obligated to come up with something.
Mhm.
You know that.
Exactly.
I'm going to reiterate what Mr. Zander presented up here on the later part of this thing. All of us, I think, that are here, and probably a whole lot more that weren't aware than anything about data centers was going to be presented tonight. But when I was hearing him go through his list, I was quite impressed in terms of protecting all of them. And I would hope each and every member before me seriously get asked if he doesn't present that list to you to have that in your possession prior to this workshop. Because we don't want to be left having polluted wells, having our animals run off the property because the low level sounds that are emitted from these data centers. And I've been to a lot of these meetings, you know, the loud, high pitched things. Yeah, that's one thing, the generators, but there's as much damage from the low level noises and cardiovascular, stroke, noises that affect your dog, your cat, if you've got a farm in the area. It's not researched. And maybe that's the whole point, that most of our government officials, oh, well, it's money. Let's just charge ahead. Let's build it in every township we can. And I would hope that the people of Conewago Township, I've lived here for about 45 years on my property. I'm 78, but I'm willing to fight against sticking that data center here on Bowersbridge Road, off there on Bull Road, any agricultural farmland. It doesn't belong there.
Okay, thank you.
Vacant warehouses in the township. I see them every day. Stick them in one of those.
Thank you, Mrs. Lookabout. All right, so we are going to add that to the agenda. The second item to add to the agenda is release of, what is it?
Mr. Zander's got a question. His hand's up there.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Short and simple. I guess this question might be directed to Mark or anybody who knows. The people that you're bringing in workshops that will be measuring the sound. Will they be measuring the low subsonic, the stuff around 20 hertz that we don't hear with our human ears, but is known to cause complications in health, animals, and everything? Will they be testing for that also, or talking about what it does?
So, great question. The step number one is to write the ordinance so that we can regulate those things. Step two then is, and in most draft the ordinance that I've been reading, it requires the sound study be done after the a data center one is built. We put in and do those sound checks. What we're requiring is that a neutral third party company would be the one that does the sound check. And so they will have to check a range, and we'll have to set that in the ordinance what the range would be to check. And that would have to be done on a regular basis. So yes, but the ordinance will have to dictate that so that we can enforce it.
Yeah, what's the path to what is the question this gentleman made? After the fact. Now, let's say the building is constructed, you've done your work, it doesn't come between, it doesn't pass. So what happens? They get this is $1,000 fine, fix it.
So the enforcement side of the ordinance is critical so that we have the tools and the ability to make sure that anything that goes in. And this isn't just attacking data centers per se. This is any business that comes in, and if a warehouse comes in and says, I'm only going to operate from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they're operating at 10 or 11 p.m., then we can go after them and cite them. So that's why we have to have clear language in the ordinance and clear enforcement language in the ordinance. And that's the kind of stuff we've been talking about, is enforcing the basic stuff as well as the clear stuff for any business that operates outside of their allowed parameter.
Who's going to enforce it?
We will have to. The township will have to.
So are we going to call you guys? We're going to pick up the phone and call you at 10, 11, 12, midnight?
If there's an emergency like that, you can call the police.
Okay. And where does that leave you? You call the police about this, that, and the other, and you know what? The phone is hung up on you. Nothing happened.
So let's keep going. I
Okay.
as long as it's-
All right. And the next thing we're going to add is release for sewer well on 655 Green Springs Road.
Yeah.
And we're going to add that
the 6B.
6B. Okay. All right. Adoption of the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to, accept the adopted, amended, agenda.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the previous minutes. Everybody had a chance to review?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, number 6, planning and zoning. So we have the advertising for the workshop. So, Mark, you kind of clarified that.
So I pre-made the slide so you guys would know the date. Don't yell at me. The date is not going to be June 10th. I had it in there because that was what we planned. We will change that, okay? So don't look at the man behind the screen. So we're seeking authorization from the Board of Supervisors to authorize staff to advertise 2 special meetings to address the issues around the data center ordinance.
Okay, and the dates to be announced
Dates to be announced.
as soon as possible. Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, the
Advertise.
advertisement for the announcement of, at least 2 workshops.
Okay. I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Why do you keep saying you have to do it as soon as possible? That's what I'm not saying right
I think you talking about the announcement.
Oh, you know?
Yeah.
The announcement of the dates as soon as possible.
Yeah, that way you guys
Yeah.
can plan to.
Yeah.
Not the meeting.
No, just the dates, because if June 10th was too soon, we want to make sure, hopefully that we could get the date out to you. Yeah, not that we're gonna have it as soon as possible, we're gonna have the dates out to you as soon as possible. And, so that was 2, and Brian, you abstained. Okay. Planning and zoning, and that would be the second item, which is, the release at 655 Green Springs.
Let me explain that quick. So we got a request in on Friday, which is why it wasn't on the agenda. We added it, we're adding it tonight. There's a property at 655 Green Spring Road that their on-lot septic system has failed, and they have to locate a second location. The second location is less than 100 feet from the well that's existing on site, so they have to seek permission from the township to locate it within that 100-foot barrier. That's what's being approved tonight, is just a release. Think of it like a waiver or a relief from the requirements of the code, so that this property can move forward and set up a second location for the rollout septic system.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the septic and well being at the 155 feet.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the reports. Okay, as far as the police report, our numbers are down for this month. Over last month, they're down 141 calls. So it looks like it's moving in the right direction. Year to date, we're down 123 calls according to last year. All right. And for police activity, in Conewago Township here and on Woodbury Road, there was a corruption of minors. Approximately 80 high school students attended an after prom party where underage drinking was involved. 2 adults were charged with corruption of minors, and 53 juveniles were cited for underage drinking. So, unfortunate of that. Dover Township, animal cruelty, South Main Street. A male driving a black pickup truck stopped in the roadway and threw a dog out of the vehicle. The malnourished and injured dog was taken to SPCA. Investigation continues. And I think a picture of that truck is on Northern Regional's website. So if anybody identifies that. In Dover Township on, let's see, that was in Dover Borough. Okay, in Dover Township, a reportable injury crash on Harmony Grove Road. 2 vehicles crashed involving a sedan and a motorcycle. The occupants of the motorcycle sustained moderate injuries. Well, unfortunately, that one injury was one of our police officers, John Morley, who is a Conewago Township resident. And 31 days after that, he passed away. So last Friday, I went to his funeral, and he obviously had a blood clot that passed through his heart and his lungs, and he passed. He's only 55 years old. Here's a strange one. Manchester Township, Church Road, a 30-year-old female was digging up flowers planted at the Browntown Elementary School. School officials did not want to file charges against her. Kind of strange. But yeah, our calls were down 141 calls, and 150 of them were less traffic complaints. So I think that was really good. On May the 15th, Sergeant Lebo Ryan and Dave Latch attended the International Association of Computer Investigators, and they accepted an award for Detective Mark Baker, who was one of our officers that was slain. Also, John Morley. Okay. And on Saturday, June 20th, Engine Company will host a concert to benefit the department and the construction of a remembrance memorial garden for our fallen officers. The main musical artist will be Dustin Lynch. Also, Street Rods National are coming to town on June the 5th to the 7th. And again, Northern Regional will have a large patrol presence in Manchester Township, in the area of Route 30 between Pennsylvania Avenue and Susquehanna Trail. Also, mark your calendars on Tuesday, August the 4th, National Night Out. On the old building, Northern Regional Crusade is going up on the auction block, and it's going to be auctioned by Sterner's Auction. And that date's going to be July 23rd. So I'm not sure if it's going to be up there or if it's going to be an online auction, but you can check that out, Sterner. Also, we signed an agreement between Northern Regional and ICE agents, and that was an 8-2 vote. So now if they stop somebody, they can turn them over to ICE. Previously, they couldn't do that. All right, Jeremy, do you have anything?
I think you covered it all.
You're good?
I'm good.
How about the cell phone thing? I guess you get arrested to you to them now. Oh, that just took me back Wednesday.
Yeah, the Paul Miller law. That's correct.
Yeah.
Now can be cited. I think it's really free. Yeah, can be cited.
Okay, so the last thing, unfortunately, today or tomorrow, there's an article in the paper that the coroner released the autopsy reports on the 3 officers. And as Northern Regional, we thought that was totally unacceptable that they would give that much information. And the Chief Blash wrote a rebuttal on it. And so you can see that on his on Northern York County Regional's website. Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the reports?
I'll make a motion to accept the police report and building report.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Treasurer's report. I have just a couple things here that I wanted to go over with Mark and Aaron. I don't know if you noted, fire relief fund. It said the income was 65,000. And what they're gonna release is 60. So,
I talked with Anita about that earlier this week. I think we received that, yeah.
okay.
I think I did kind of.
But that's a pilot program. Well, if you are not, like, you want to follow the rules,
Okay. But the two figures then.
yeah, that's what I.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know the date. Well, typically we get it. And then once, yeah, that's
Mhm.
the fire.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, these reports for the treasurer's report, we never really deal with the period say whatever. There a possible way of posting them on the township website where we can go back and look at them for meeting. Because we never get to see them, we just hear bits and pieces about them. But technically, we don't really know where any of that money is truly going. But we never get to see that. I'm just curious, because I know I've heard other people ask. So I just wondered if you just put it on like possible, put it there, whatever way you want to see it.
Your thoughts on that? Is that okay to do something like that? I know. Okay. All right.
There's no development. Depending on all competition.
Well, it would only,
That name and address.
yeah, we wouldn't do that. We would just do the,
Just put bigger.
yeah.
If you have to block, like take somebody's name, I'm thinking that I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm checking people's friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't want to be close.
Right.
I really heard.
I think if we just did like these 3 pages, what we have here, that shows us our budget versus our actual.
Yeah, it shows where our money's flowing in and out.
Right.
And that
That's fine.
just shows, so,
That just gives us a little more transparency.
okay,
Try and covers you guys, covers anybody that has questions.
okay. All right, so, and make a motion, but then you need to check into that
Yeah.
clarity.
Yeah, I made a motion to put it forward upon checking out the fire.
Okay,
And I'll second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Managers,
Okay. That might not be checking the date right now. Wrong date on that one.
Yeah, call me.
Okay, so good. A couple things. One, I just want to point out a highlight. At the last meeting, we were authorized to fix the roof on the pavilion out here in the playground next to the office. So that's the before and after pictures. I mean, the color looks great. It looks great. So, company did a great job. I think it really adds value to everything. So it really came out well.
no, this is the
This
part
is right
over
this
here.
one right here. Right next to the building behind the public park. So I'll jump to that real quick. We are getting quotes again on Mill Creek to run the electric. We're thinking about pulling it off of Canal Road and bringing it in that way. I think it's gonna be easier or less parking lot and stuff to clear out. So we're getting quotes and to look at that now and getting that done. Brian and I did attend the meeting last night for the PennDOT project at Canal and Bolt Road. I don't know if were any of you guys there as well? Okay. We went to the elected officials or public officials portion of it first. That project is coming. You guys saw it. We're going to keep information on the website on that so that people can look on it. And PennDOT has a link to their site, all the maps and information. So you guys can go look at it.
And that's the roundabout you're talking
The
about.
roundabout there
Yeah.
at Canal Road, yeah.
And it doesn't look like, it looks like only one property is, in Conewago Township.
One property in Conewago Township will be severely impacted. Then the other two are in Dover Township.
Yeah, remember the pushing it towards the more.
It-
It's going
It's
north.
going northwest, in the northwest corner of the intersection.
Is that a big?
I had to break the barn down the street on the right.
Bull Road, north-south, Canal Road, east-west, this quadrant here. Okay, the second one, this is important. The water company is coming in Thursday night. I'm hoping that many of you have received notices that will be impacted. They will be relocating the water line in Copenhagen Road, starting at 9 o'clock this Thursday night. And they should be done around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get it reconnected.
So you won't have water.
So the water will be shut off between 9, and I don't know the impact area of that main and how much that hit. So if you received a letter, be aware. If you haven't, just keep that in mind that the water will be going off Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Well, at some point after 9, and then back on again. They said it takes around 6 to 8 hours to make this change to relocate the water line. Timely meeting for me. I attended the York County Freight Advisory Committee. If you've never heard of that, it's a group that was put together a few years ago. Look at the impact of these warehouses and freight movement within the county. I just want to let you guys know that I will be attending those meetings, participating in, keeping information up so we know what's going on. This is and I agree with this. This is looking at freight traffic on not a micro level, but on a macro level. I think you really have to look at this issue on a grand scale. And the example I used is I was the manager in Columbia Borough, Lancaster County. Do you remember the horrible tragedy when the barge hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge out of Baltimore and took out that route? Soon after that, a bridge in Philadelphia along Route 95 had to close. The detour route was 83 to 30 around and up. So we suddenly realized that small Columbia Borough in Lancaster County is being impacted by the Francis Scott Key Bridge and the damage there. So these things can't be looked at a micro scale and looked at to say this is it. You really have to look at it on a broad scale. I think that's what this group is trying to do. So Derek participates in there, I participate in there. We will be involved in that group going forward, and I'll bring updates to you as appropriate. We've also been meeting every 2 weeks on the Canal Road Betterment Project. Not Canal will come east. This is the canal and the trail and that region from under 83 all the way out. They've been meeting on a regular basis to talk about that. We're securing right away to make the improvements and looking at other things that need to be done. So if you have any questions on that call, if you want an update during these meetings, we can do that. But we are attending those meetings as well. The other meeting that of significance is I hope you guys are all aware the improvements to exit 28. There is on the southbound lane, they're going to be adding a dedicated right turn lane that goes south onto the trail. So that project's in motion now. And I'll say it again. This is why you have to look at things globally. If you kind of go on Google Earth and you kind of back up a little bit, and you see all the projects that are happening, we want to make sure that the timing of those is in such a way that they're not conflicting. We're doing tearing up a whole lot and constricting a whole lot of roads all at the same time. I look at Brian and I can see from the fire side. You have to think about how you're going to divert for emergency response, how you're going to divert buses, how you're going to divert traffic, etc. So we're keeping an eye on that to make sure that is happening. Finally, not on the slide. But I want to give a quick update on some of the things we've talked about tonight, and that is some of the enforcement issues that are happening here in the township or the need for enforcement. With the appointment that's coming up later in the meeting to appoint the zoning officer, that zoning officer will be me. So that we have an appointed zoning officer here in the township, and once that takes place tonight, we'll be starting to send out letters to enforce the ordinances that we have. We talked about it tonight. We talked about the fact that you can write any law. The power is in the law. The power is in the ability to enforce the law. So I have committed to the supervisor that we want to get out and not be heavy-handed and just start slapping people silly and being mean, but just let people know that, hey, you can't store a pile of junk vehicles on your property. You can't let your grass go crazy and get high and out of control. You can't have certain things. We had a lot of good codes. Yeah, some of them probably need to be worked on. Some of them need to be tweaked, and we'll work on that as well. But I think we want to start by enforcing what we have on the books and start getting some of the things done. So after tonight, we'll have the ability to get out there and start going around. And John said it earlier, the thing that we'll try to do is go and talk to people, let people know, hey, this is coming. We need you to clean up. If you don't, then you'll be getting a notice of violation letter. If that letter is not respected, that goes to the district magistrate, and then the fine can be accumulated, and they can start assessing damage. If under the law here in Pennsylvania, if you don't reconcile something, the magistrate can make each day a new violation. So that could add up quick. So we will start those kind of enforcement activities here soon, and then start working on it. You guys have a lot of pride in it. You really do, and that's a good thing. But we have to work together, and I think our part of that working together is making sure that people are following the rules and doing what they're supposed to do. So we want to get all that right now.
Yeah, good example, when we came out to your property, shared, and took a look at your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Clearly there's opportunity.
Even carrying stuff down the road yesterday on a hand truck, more junk for his yard. We were all standing outside.
Well, he's the one that can expect a letter the next day.
But that's a good example, where we've come out and clearly.
My property, my own good, and the guy said, he just looked at the beginning and said, you gotta be kidding.
That's what they were telling me.
It's not good. This is going on 4 years.
Well, you weren't kidding. That's for sure. You were not kidding.
Hey, Mark, you have some more?
No, that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, Mark's doing a great job. We're really thankful to have you. Thank you. That's what I'm worried about. Could you give your name for the fund?
Yeah, but what, should that have something to do with the, Green Square project? And
It does.
I heard that a company they pulled out of there, but I've heard a couple of versions of why, what's happening.
Sure. One of the things that had to happen is there's a conflict between the sewer line and the water line. So the water line has to be moved before they can start the sewer work. So they're getting that piece, the water company is coming in and getting that piece done now. That's what's happening. So they're not continuing, site work hasn't started again. This is simply to get out of the right of way to get that water line relocated so they can work.
This has nothing to do with the builder declaring bankruptcy or.
No.
No. So the sewer authority still has a stop work order for them, and they can't do any work with regards to the sewers until they get things cleaned up and reconciled. So that's still in place. But this is a step outside of that, related to it, yes, but not directly tied to it. So the water line work can take place and get that done. Then once they get things stirred up with the sewer authority, they can move forward and start getting the sewer work done. But nothing else on the site can take place until they get things in line.
Okay. All right.
Now I think I'm done.
You think they're done? Okay. Thank you, Mark. Okay, solicitor's report.
I don't have any action items tonight. I reviewed the, resolution coming up on the new business. I've got contacts and I'll put a several other.
Okay, thank you, sir. Engineer's report.
Okay, a lot of kind of development coming up here. We have the Carvana plan that is pushing forward. We expect that to be heard at the June Planning Commission meeting. We also received a submission for Foxfront Heights Phase 4, which is the final phase for that project. That'll finish that out. So again, that development just they started and they haven't stopped, and there's no sign that they're going to stop till they're done. So.
That's 44 hours under plan order.
Correct. At phase 4, then additional 44 left. Again, that'll finish. So we also received a submission for Freedom Square phase 2. We are aware of the issues with sewer capacity. There are some items in phase 2 that are important, mainly the stormwater design that was done for the culvert that's necessary to install the second entrance. So just letting you all know the plan was submitted. I don't expect the plan to follow the normal review and approval process. As you're all aware, we're, looking to see some more action on phase 1 and absolutely need to work sewer authority for the capacity on phase 2 before it goes really anywhere from this standpoint. But I am very interested in the stormwater design and ultimately the joint permit that needs to be submitted for that culvert, because even if phase 2 doesn't proceed, the culvert is critical for phase 1. And we do have a developer's agreement in place. that was approved sometime last year that lays out the sequencing of phase one and what permits they're allowed to pull until they get that culvert in. They can build about half of phase one without any action on the culvert. They can build on the quarter of it once the culvert is permitted, and they can build the rest of phase one once the culvert's in. So we do have some safeguards in place. Yeah, we're gonna turn the air off.
Okay, question in the back.
Thank you. If, they find regarding phase two, that, there's gonna need sewer upgrades, things replaced because they're antiquated or old or stressed, will the new building permit fees and whatnot cover that, upgrades to the infrastructure, or you expect the existing residents to help subsidize the new phase two?
Well, they have capacity right now for about half of phase two. The way that they acquire the other capacity that they need is going to come down to an agreement with the sewer authority. So anything related to sewer is really out of the township's hands. Is going to, sorry to put you on the spot there, Jacob, but it's gonna come down to an agreement with the developer and the sewer authority for what capacity exists or what needs to be done to extend that capacity. From our purview, from the township's review, we are waiting and will wait until we get confirmation that the capacity exists. Once we get that okay from the sewer authority, then we can proceed with the approval of the plan. But it is not in this board's purview to determine what capacity exists, how it's provided, or what the sewer rates are going to be. That lies solely with the sewer authority.
So we may be subsidizing new people coming in, basically.
That's not what I said at all.
May. I said may. Thank you, though. That's fine.
I want to be clear. I didn't make any statement of the like. It's not in this board's purview. It's in the sewer authority's purview. So we'll let them discuss and decide how they're going to handle it.
Mr. Zander, did you hit the light switch behind you?
Mr. Zander is responsible for accidentally doing that. I apologize. Would you
You want
like
to
it
just
back?
hit it again?
I can tap it.
There we go. All right.
I think that's it. Everything else is on the agenda that requires action. That's probably a good one.
Okay. So you did all the roads and everything?
Oh yeah, I can say that too. I have 3 of the 5 contracts, Mark. I need your signatures on these before I leave. We did not get the contract back for the materials yet. But I have the line painting, the seal coat contract, and the paving contract all back ready for execution. So
Okay.
whenever we get the materials contract back, we'll be ready to go.
Okay. Okay, that's everything for you?
Yes, thanks for the reminder.
All right. Thank you, Derek.
Mhm.
No unfinished business? New business. We want to appoint the township manager also as a zoning permit codes officer. So do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint the township manager as the zoning permit code officer.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that would be Mark Steiner. Resolution 2026-06, the fire company and fire police activities.
So that's actually, the resolution number is 2026-12.
Oh, 12?
Yeah, that thing.
Okay. And that's just, to release the funds for the,
Now, so that's
This is something that really should have been done at the beginning of every year. We've done it in the past. Insurance reasons, any function that the fire company has, volunteers that we have come in, for chicken barbecues, or we're helping, fire police are helping, like they did this Memorial Day weekend down here, the church here, with traffic control. Anyone that get hurt is covered under the workers' comp. And I could just have to approve this resolution here in order to, it's basically a blanket, anything that the fire company's involved in and anyone that's helping is covered by insurance.
And that should be done annually. So
It should be done.
You could do it either in December or January of every year.
Yeah. So now that you have it as a resolution, it'll come up to approve that January.
Okay,
Right.
all right, sounds great.
I'll make a motion to approve, resolution 2026-12. For the fire company and for fire police activities.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, deed agreement for exit 28 improvements.
So this is two legal documents that will allow us and it sounds confusing, but us as the applicant to acquire additional right of way off the ramp at exit 28. So that dedicated right turn lane that we talked about can be put in. Because this is not directly a PennDOT project, but it's being done by developers, the township needs to be the kind of the clearinghouse, I'll say, or the applicant in this process. So that's just us to take the land. There's no cost to us. There's no financial burden to the township. It's just giving us the ability to then be the agent to take land.
Okay. All right, do you have any questions, guys? Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the deed agreements for Chapter 28 improvement.
And I'll say.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Other business, this Friday, June the 5th, is Food Truck Friday. And we're having a little bit of trouble getting some entertainment. So we're still looking for anybody or any food truck. Also, the other business is authorization to prepare the tax, trash bid.
So we need authorization to get this process started. It takes a while to get the trash bid and done. We're just asking the supervisors to authorize staff to prepare the bids so we can get them out in the street as soon as possible.
So, I have a question. Is there anything we could do differently to get more, from your perspective, get more bidders in? So we have other options outside of Penn Waste.
I think we're going to market it the best we can and get it out there. Aaron's the upper on this one.
So as far as service, I think that the service level that we have are good. The only thing you could really do to get more bidders, I would say, is watch your bid volume amounts. That there are new companies out there as far as tolerance for trash. Some of them are more local and just starting, and so it's a bid volume important for them with a lower bid volume. But I do think that you'll see more bidders and more success with it outside of Penn Base because there have been, I think, 3 other haulers that have started coming into the town, the county area. So there's definitely you probably won't be a public bid, maybe they will, but typically they are looking for all asks if they can automate and for if the township willing to take over the building, which
Yeah.
but yeah, I will just put it out there, you'll probably be more successful feel
In the past, we've seen some people not bid too because we were offering a bag service.
Yeah.
Is that?
that
Is that-
is something that they don't
want to do.
typically like to see. They want to see trash cards or cans or whatever, particularly the cards because it's adaptable to their slip. Bags generally present a hazard for the people who have to get out there and load up and sling that into a truck.
Is there a lot of residents here tonight that use the bag option?
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
$180 for class.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's one of those mandates. It's an unfunded mandate. We have to do it. When we've reached a certain population, that's when it triggered that. And we put it off as long as we could until they kind of threatened us. But I think that's a couple of years ago.
I think Penn Wait, about the drawing, we had the option of using their photos before putting out garbage bags.
Mhm, yeah.
And, private 180, that's what thought about it, was that there's a handful.
Take a card out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You need to vote on that.
Yeah, motion. I'll make a motion to approve the staff just prepare craft beer.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the only other thing I have, I just wanted to send a thank you out to Rose Crane. Rose is, the owner of Rose's Greenhouse on 170 Doherty Road. And she provided all the flowers that are out front. Last Thursday, I guess that's right before the storm. We went out and we planted all of them. And then I had my 2 grandsons and my 4-year-old great grandson go out and put all the flags out. And the 4-year-old had it all doing that. So it looks very nice. And we want to thank Rose. So it's up on Doherty Road, right off Lewisberry. So if anybody needs any plants, flowers, vegetables, she's got it. All right.
Just more about it, but do we have a date for yet for when Kempy's gonna start paving River Road? Like, when that gonna be, like the second week of this month?
I'll double check and let you know. I'll let you know. I think it's coming up in
Yeah, and I think they're putting a sign up.
yeah. I want to say yes, but I don't know what it is. So I'll find out.
But yeah, then on River Road, they're gonna be paving that here shortly.
We'll push it out. When it starts.
We should get that trailer out of there first. So that's right up the road. Okay, you guys got anything else?
No.
Okay, anything else? All right, thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned. Sorry, James.
Sorry, her hand fell up for a little bit.
Oh,
I'm just recognizing what you all did.
okay. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Who currently is your BTO?
Excuse me.
Who currently is the building code official?
Commonwealth Code Inspector has taken over.
That's what I thought I'd come and down to you.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.